Alrighty, everyone. It is time to get underway for the second race this week at Atlanta, and it'll be the Bridge to Cup Series. And on the front row, we've seen Jack Davis get a win this year already, and they will be starting on the front row alongside Braden Hunt here at Atlanta for a 300-mile race. Behind them, you've got Luis Rodriguez and Spinham Walker. Fresh out of victory from the last race, David Steele Jr. and Adam Starr. David Bird and Bradley Ream. Gannon Bird and Andrew Moger. Kyle Ottawa and Asiel Escobar. The 24 of Kyler Sestre and his teammate, 29 of Rich Roy. This will be the last race for Santi Messi, and he'll be starting mid-pack here alongside Noah Hobson. Ryan Little and Kat Durham. John Hagan and Krista Cower. Jamie Horseman and Alan Malcolm. Kevin Xavier and Cannon Gage. Anheuser Wagner alongside GP Luxembourg. Chasey Plays and AJ Kosnoff. Scott Speed and Roach. Then at the very back you have Lucas Holmes and Paulo Ladino. Oh, and then there's a mechanical failure right off the beginning here for Jack Davis from pole position. Unfortunately, this is going to very much affect the start of this race. Your pole sitter has a mechanical failure before they even get the green flag. 66% damage to the engine, so that is day over. Before it even started for the 09 there. Tough break there. You don't see that very often, and it's even crazier when you do see it. So now pole sitter Luis Rodriguez gets to roll off from first place here alongside Braden Hunt. Jack Davis is midfield in the point standings, so that's going to be a heavy hit in the points battle for him. Luis Rodriguez off to the lead, and now Dave Steele Jr. taking it away. Dave Steele will get credited with leading the first lap here. After getting his win in the last race, he was able to pretty much jump up to the points lead. Should be a good fight here today as things just going to get settled in and ready for the long haul. So it was confirmed it was a gearbox failure for the 09 team that puts Jack Davis out of the race before lap 1 even was started. Under attack now, Dave Steele Jr. and Ryan Little running 1-2. Ryan Little with a good head of momentum on his side here. Got the Subaru leading the Mazda, leading the Dodge, and the Cadillac, as well as a Hyundai in the top 5. So your top 5, a complete mixed bag. Kevin Xavier joins the party at the front of the field here into the top 5, now up to 4th. As he's got to be one of your biggest movers so far. I think he started outside the top 10. And here comes Ryan Little to take the lead away from Dave Steele Jr. But not too quickly, as Kyle Ottawa is going to try to strike on the inside here. Kyle Ottawa to the front. And Kevin Xavier now up to 2nd. Dave Steele Jr. falls back to 4th. Adam Starr up to 5th here. There's a lot of action going on at the front of the field as we've got the lead changing hands. Dave Steele with a good head of momentum there as well, but settles in right behind Ryan Little for now. These guys giving it their all. They're going to be running hard for 300 miles here at Atlanta tonight. 195 laps to complete. Now we got Kevin Xavier peeking on the inside here. Going to carry that Hyundai to the front. Kevin Xavier not credited with a lap lead yet here. Could potentially be his first lap lead in Bridge to Cup competition. He's going to hold off Dave Steele and get credited with 1 lap lead here today. But under full attack from the 35 team. David Bird now up to 3rd. Even the 26 of, I believe that's Lucas Holmes, up into the top 5. Yep. So Holmes followed by the 46 there of Gannon Bird. About to have 2 birds fighting for 3rd. I mean, there you got Alan Malcolm cruising to the front here. There's a whole lot of movement all throughout the field. As Adam Starr now settles into 3rd here. There's a 3-wide fight for 5th. That 3-wide battle continuing. It's only shuffling Alan Malcolm further backwards. 3-wide. 3-wide. Gee golly, it's 3-wide. They haven't hit 4-wide yet. That's usually a recipe for disaster here at Atlanta. Holy crap, Paulo Ladino, where did he come from? Now up into the top 5, fighting for positions amongst the leaders here. Adam Starr's been in this Bridge to Cup series the last 3 years in the what was Sylvania Busch Light series before it evolved to the Bridge to Cup series. And he's just right there at the cusp of breaking into actual cup competition. He's got to figure out a way to get the wins rolling here, as he's won a couple races in his first 2 years of competition, but going to take a whole lot more than a couple wins to secure a full-time cup ride. Dang, that's crazy. Braden Hunt started from the front row and has dropped all the way back outside the top 20. So rough go for Braden there in the number 4. John Hagan having kind of a lackluster start to this one, running at about 20th. There's still a lot of movement throughout the field here. There's so much racing yet to go, and so much movement has already happened in the only 23, 24 laps that we have run so far. Another battle for position as Gannonbird gets up to second. Ryan Little fighting for second. That bumps the 10 of Kevin Xavier back to 4th. Here comes Adam Starr down low. He's going to push the envelope here. Go 3 wide, maybe, not quite. Moger joining the party here, now up into the top 5. Andrew Moger in that kind of mint green looking car there. All in the meantime, Dave Steele Jr. just cruising out there, leading this race in the number 35 Trackhouse B entry. So far, there's been a lot of movement at the front of the field. Dave Steele Jr. gets shuffled out of the lead, and your new leader, the 19 of Bradley Ream, currently leads over the Jaw Drop Motorsports teammates of Ryan Linnell and Anheuser Walkner. But apart from that, it's 3 Mazdas leading the way right now. So perhaps a little bit of an advantage here for the Mazdas at Atlanta. Next in line is 2 Subarus. Dave Steele Jr. dominated for the first chunk of the race, and now the competition's getting a little bit stiffer here. Well, looks like we've got our first caution of the race here. And whom it involves looks to be possibly the 26 of Lucas Holmes. Oh, he blew up. That's the second mechanical failure we've seen here today. And unfortunately, David Bird just did not have anywhere to go. Blown engine from the 26. He tried to go low and takes out the 13 and the 1. Just as collateral damage there. Engine damage for the 09 earlier in the race. Engine damage for the 26th. That time it was 95% damage to the 26 of Lucas Holmes. And everyone's pitting right now, so we'll have to see how it all shuffles out after pit stops here. Yep, I do not expect that to recover. That's going to be critical failure to the 26 here for the race. And so we're under caution after 45 laps of competition. And we'll be on hold until we get the restart. So Through the field after the pit stops under caution here, Anheuser-Wagner now inherits the lead over Bradley Ream, Ryan Little, Dave Steele Jr., and Gannon Bird. Then you've got John Hagan, who's cracked his way up into the top 10. Cannon Gage, Andrew Moger, Jamie Horseman, and Adam Starr to round out your top 10. Then you got Spinham Walker, the 10 there of Kevin Xavier, 66 of Roach, 98 of Krista Cower, and the 29 of Rich Roy to round out your top 15. Then it is Santi Messi, Kyle Ottawa, Braden Hunt, Paul Ladino, and Scott Speed, your top 20. Noah Hobson, Kyler Sestre, Asiel Escobar, Luis Rodriguez, and GP Luxembourg, your top 25. And then it is Chasey Plays, Kat Durham, David Bird, who's still alive, Alan Malcolm, and AJ Kosnoff. Now with 2 cars out of the race here tonight. Pace cars pulling off here for the restart as they come rolling out of turn 4. They're going to wait till the restart zone to see that green flag. And we're back off and racing here at Atlanta. It's a drag race at the front, but it looks like Bradley Ream's going to prevail, taking it from Anheuser-Wagner. Dave Steele Jr. on the high side here. Might find a little bit of camaraderie with the 65 of Wagner. Get some drafting help here. Fortunately, that high side just not cutting it right now, as Dave Steele Jr. dropping spot after spot from the high side. Meantime, Bradley Ream's still leading. There's an opening down low. Anheuser-Wagner does not take it. That would have been an opportunity to get low and start moving back through the field. Dave Steele Jr. way high now. He's struggling 3 wide through the depths of the field. You better be careful not to get into any contact with one of the other drivers back here. And from 6th almost all the way back to the tail end of the field. It's a very, very humbling race we have here tonight. You might be the top and go to the lowest of lows in a couple turns. Gannon Bird back to the lead here over Cannon Gage. So that's the Cadillac duo leading the field right now. Jamie Horseman there in the Audi. So quite the breakout. Different manufacturers now at the front of this one, as it seems to constantly change on the turn of a dime. It's crazy how quickly everyone moves back and forth through the field. Cannon Gage all the way back to 20th here. Dave Steele back on the tear, back into the top 15, working his way through the field. Braden Hunt back up into the top 10. And in the meantime, it's still Gannon Bird leading the way over Rich Roy and Luis Rodriguez. Gannon Bird yet to have won anything in Sigma offline racing. Has been competing in trucks full time, and this is his first time full season in Bridge to Cup. So perhaps looking to stump the odds and get his first career win on the second notch of the ladder, which would be impressive. Still definitely shy from halfway here tonight. And a whole lot of racing. There's likely going to be at least 2 more pit stops to the end of this one. But we've seen a lot of comers and goers in this one. It's been action-packed at the front of the field. It's been hard to hold that lead because you've got so many cars competitive behind the lead. Want to steal that position away. Noah Hobson, your fastest on track so far today. Let's find him in the field where he is running right now. The 22 of Noah Hobson. Right there. Right behind the boss man. Couple spots behind the boss man. 35 of Dave Steele Jr. just 2 spots ahead of him. In 9th, he currently sits in 12th. Santi Messi is stepping away from racing after tonight, so that 50 car that you see unsponsored, sponsors and everything are huge for these guys, and without the sponsorship, he's decided that he's gonna set his focus on other goals in his career path. So that 50 car could still be potentially looking for a new suitor. But it'll definitely have to come with sponsor backing to continue running, as this will be Santi Messi's last race here tonight. Hanging up the hat, at least in Sigma offline series racing here. He's just hoping for a good finish tonight, and like anyone, probably is going to hope for a win to seal the deal. Go out on top as very few people can say that they did. So getting one more opportunity tonight could be a interesting story to have someone that retires from racing after winning their last race. So who knows what can play out here tonight. Still a lot of racing. He's up here in the top 10. And very, very valid option to fight for this win here tonight. Crazy how we've seen dominant runs from a couple drivers. We saw that of Dave Steele Jr. having led for the first segment of the race here tonight. And now looking like Gannon Bird might be flirting with fighting for a good finish here tonight. Leading a lot of laps here in the midpoint this one. 124 laps to go. This race is going to be just around 2 hours in duration. We've caught up to some lap traffic here. The 1 of Alan Malcolm and the 12 of AJ Kosnoff. This could definitely shake things up here in the running order if they aren't able to get through this lap traffic very easily. Ryan Little gets stuck up high. This is going to draw him back a couple spots. 65 of Walkner goes 3 wide with the lap traffic up high. We're going to have to give that 12 a DQ here tonight, as minimum race pace is not being reached in that 12 machine. We got to wait till cycles around where he's clear of any traffic. That way we don't cause a huge pileup. Everyone's slicing and dicing through the lap traffic here, minimizing momentum lost by getting by him quickly here. Okay, now the 12 of Kosnoff will go ahead and roll his DQ out, as not reaching minimum race pace here tonight. That's all she wrote for the 12 team, unfortunately. Meantime, it's Anheuser-Walkner off to the lead now, as it seems that Gannon Bird, struggling a little bit, drops outside of the top 5. And a new 3rd place contender, the 6 of Kat Durham. So a lot going on here, close to midway. Great racing action here tonight at Atlanta. Never fails to give us some good racing. Kat Durham to the lead, and Dave Steele Jr. back knocking on the door of that lead. 35 looking strong here tonight. Oh, and the 19 of Bradley Ream gets up into the wall. We got to go back a little bit and see how that came to be. He gets clipped here. The 29 of Rich Roy clips the 19, and that runs Bradley Ream all the way up into the wall. Ream gives him a little bump there to say, hey, what the heck was that for? And damage already done at this point, as Bradley Ream loses momentum, loses positions, and potentially damages that car a little bit, making contact with the outer wall. Here goes Dave Steele Jr. low and blown by the 6 of Kat Durham with ease. Made it look easy, as you've got Dave Steele back to the lead for the first time in a while here. Kat Durham in 2nd, Luis Rodriguez in 3rd. Gannon Bird and Ryan Little fighting for 4th. Dave Steele just recently won his first race last week, where we were racing in Boise at Boise International Raceway. And, you know, one thing's for certain, wins carry huge momentum, and nothing's better than to have a win in your pocket. Go into the next race, just kind of makes that next race that much sweeter. Dave Steele really kind of picking up where he left off at Boise. Running strong here, leading tons of laps so far. We're getting close to halfway, not quite there yet, but in about 10 laps time, we'll be halfway through this one. And Dave Steele looking like a very tough adversary for the rest of the field here. So far, with only the one caution, we've had 2 mechanical failures knock out pair of drivers from this race here tonight. So 30 cars still out there running. Minus the DNQ, or the disqualification to the 12, so that actually means 29 cars out running. David Bird sustained damage when Lucas Holmes blew his engine and collected him and the number 1 car. Those two showing the scars of the battle here tonight, running at the back of the field with damaged vehicles. Paul Ladino in 27th, Kyle Ottawa in 26th, Scott Speed in 25th. Not the day these guys were hoping for. Still could turn it around here in the second half maybe, but it doesn't look like they've got quite the pace to stay up front with these competitive leaders towards the front. Adam Starr has shuffled from the front to the back, to the front and back to the back again. Sitting in 21st, not ideal right now, but perhaps just mind his P's and Q's, waiting for the opportunity to pounce from the back here. We know he's got the pace, perhaps just saving what he's got until he needs it at the end. Asiel Escobar running 18th. Santi Messi's settled into 17th here. Now you got your top 15 that we're rolling through. Anheuser Wagner falling backwards. Noah Hobson up into the top 10. Rich Roy, Krista Cower, John Hagan. So Hagan continuing to be consistent throughout the season here. 6, Kat Durham falls from grace, dropping out of second place here. That gives the lead, well, it gives Dave Steele even a cushier lead, a cozy lead up front, as second place drops out for the time being. We have hit Well, halfway, just in another lap or two. Also, those of you that are tuned in, we're getting all prepped and ready for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame race later this year. Same time around last year, as we're going to be hitting it again in October for the 2024 rendition. Paint schemes are now getting worked on, and even drivers here in the Bridge to Cup are eligible to make some one-off starts in the Cup Series. It's expected to be one of our biggest events yet again. Last year, Louis Trost was victor, and hopefully we see another great race. There's going to be some testing done at the current road course that we have plotted, but that track could change if we find a better venue to host the event. A lot of paint schemes are leaning outside of even the rock and roll genre of music. So there's possibility that we could go to California. We could go just about anywhere. Actually, what would be cool would be to go to Nashville. Try to find all the music capitals and hit those tracks kind of on a rotation basis so that we don't get stuck with the same race every year. So just stay tuned. If anything, I might test if we've got the Nashville road circuit from IndyCar in NR2003. We might do that for this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Give it up a little bit of country flair for the 2024 version of the event. Alan Malcolm going yet another lap down here. It's been hard to get back up to pace. He's not holding up traffic, so we're not going to DQ him. Give him every opportunity to stay out there and try to get some positions back if there were a wreck to happen. Gannonbird closes that gap down significantly here as him and Dave Steele lead the way here. Well, we've made it past halfway. And we'll take a brief pause here to save replay, as we're at about the 1 hour mark already. 5 of 30, part 1. Stout run here today from the 35. Dave Steele Jr. definitely wanting to back up his first win in his career. Looking pretty stout here today. And green flag pit stops. No caution. These guys are pitting from the lead. This could shake things up a little bit in the running order. Dave Steele rejoins right there in front of Gannon Bird. Pit stops. Doesn't lose much momentum here. They'll continue to duke it out on track. Back up to speed we are. Dave Steele Jr. should rotate back around to being your leader once everyone else pits. But not for a little bit of drama there as Gannon Bird blows by him for the lead. Gannon Bird and his teammate can engage. About to be running 1-2 as Dave Steele drops back to third. And just like that, the last two that have to come off pit road is the 66 of Roach and the 94 of Paulo Ladino. And you'll be looking at your 1-2 knockout with Cadillac leading the way right now. And there we have it. Shuffles back around to these guys as the leader. How fitting that you've got Gannon and Cannon as teammates, kind of like shake and bake. So right now I'm kind of looking and brainstorming for what road course will do the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this season, because I'm pretty sure that with what testing I will do that Cleveland's gonna fall short on tracks that we would host this race. Chicago Street Circuit is an intriguing one. That would be different and a very welcome entry to our schedule. I'm not opposed to going Formula One and racing at a track like Monaco, as long as there's a Monaco that actually has competitive racing, exciting racing. We haven't raced at Coda. And maybe not. I don't know if it's currently on the schedule or not. Can engage to the lead, but Dave Steele Jr. right behind him. These two looking stout here today. Dave Steele, you can see the momentum in his favor. He's going to find his way back around, can engage to take that lead. Kind of a lone duck here as teammates are teaming up against the solo car of Dave Steele Jr. You've got the 46 and 51 of Popcris Grand Prix Racing, and then the 24 and the 29 of North Central Texas NCTX Motorsports. And then you get into non-matching teams through the rest of the field here. Kind of there's a pair of them right there, the 21 and 65 for Jaw Drop Motorsports, running 11th and 12th. And that is the teammate for Dave Steele Jr. running all the way back in 15th. So Noah Hobson has a lot of work to do here to get back with his teammate at the front of the field, who of course is leading the way again, because it didn't take much time to get him back to the lead. There is a different version of Cleveland I didn't know existed, an older one. So that's interesting. We could even do some tests on the other versions of Cleveland that exist. It would be kind of cool to keep it on a airstrip, on a landing zone where they do it on airport runway. Frame rate's getting a little bit choppy again, of course. We go north of the border at Canada too. There's some Canadian tracks. Australia's always welcome. Why are we having such atrocious frame rate here? Well, I apologize because I don't know anything else to do differently about fixing the streaming quality of this computer. It just seems to be a never-ending battle with this darn computer. The frames drop so viciously. Later the race goes on sometimes even. Bird leads right now as we're down to just under 70 laps to go. Dave Steele Jr. fighting back low. It's been a battle. My computer definitely running on the hot side here, so I turn the fan on. Hopefully frames start to pick up here. Goodness gracious. Arg. Yeah, it's about time I get a new computer because this one just does not like to run. Streaming NR2003 is just at about the max that it can do. Good thing I don't stream iRacing or anything else, or else this computer would turn into a literal brick. Still, I think it's my Stream Deck that constantly bogs it down. I thought when I bought a powered hub to plug in my USBs that would help. Quite the contrary, it didn't seem to help much at all. So that is lap traffic there of Bradley Ream in the midst of all the glitchiness and lag spikes that we had. They get by Bradley Ream, leaving 25 cars on the lead lap here tonight. Down to 60 laps to go, and there's still a battle brewing here for the win. It's not sealed and signed, sealed, and delivered yet for Dave Steele Jr. He's got to defend against Gannon Bird, Kyler Sestre, and Rich Roy. Kyler Sestre goes low, going to take second away. So I hope y'all don't mind, but I'm going to keep testing this to see if maybe with the fan going, if that has helped. Frames have picked up, my computer not nearly as hot as it was running. Crazy how just the outside temperature changes everything with my computer. It's warmer out as we got. I don't get why my F drive keeps. Nope. I cannot use my Stream Deck. It's just not gonna let me. Ooh. Okay, thank goodness. Holy cow. Well, it's a nice tool when it works, but it just does not like these longer races when I use my Stream Deck, so bummer. Well, we've reached the crisp frame rate of 20 frames per second right now. I just don't get it. Well, it seems that my power cube might be the problem that I plugged the USB into, as it's making it think too hard. I plugged it directly into my computer and Stream Deck works just fine. Obviously, frames dropping a little bit there, but troubleshooting, learning by trial and error right here to figure out how else I can make this puppy work. But that seemed to help a little bit. Switching it direct to my laptop rather than having it read from an external port plugged into my USB. Down to 50 laps to go now. And it's make or bake for these guys. I do imagine we're going to see at least one more round of pit stops before the end of this one, so who's going to make the right calls to close this one out? Dave Steele Jr. has been tough to beat here today. Under attack for the lead position, as that's Rich Roy fighting for the lead here. Rich Roy and his teammate Kyler Sestre are going to blow by Dave Steele Jr. for position here. And Gannon Bird still fighting for a top 3, top 4 position. Dave Steele might be under attack by that 46 car as well. Here comes the Cadillac of Gannon Bird, blowing by Dave Steele Jr. Perhaps Dave Steele Jr. knows that there's one more pit stop and he's just kind of safetying up right here, saving a little bit more of his tires to make it possibly a little bit further on this run. Gonna get back by Gannon Bird here for third. So if you're just now tuning in, you haven't missed a whole lot. There was one caution for a blown engine where the 26 of Lucas Holmes blew up, collected the 13 of David Bird and the 1 of Alan Malcolm. Those two cars still continue to run, but with damage on the vehicle. Another mechanical failure, the 49 of Chasey Plays with a flat tire. Had to call the Ghost tow truck to get onto pit road there. No caution as we continue green in this one. Dave Steele back up to second. I think we're going to start seeing pit stops here shortly. Sestre fell back to fourth. It's just a matter of time before they have to come back down pit road. So we just gotta storm through the lag here. We've only got 32 laps to go. And like I've been mentioning, pit stops should be coming. After this race concludes tonight, I'm going to be busy rolling out a lot of stuff for the series, whether it be upgrades, possible paints, and Rich Roy takes the lead away from Dave Steele Jr. under competitive racing action here. Kyler Sustre still right there in the mix, as well as Gannon Bird. One thing these guys most likely don't want to see is a caution, as that will stack the field back up and make this even more unpredictable. Rich Roy has not been in a whole lot of races in the Sigma universe, or Sigmaverse as some like to call it. This is his first foray into the series, having earned a seat in Bridge to Cup before anything else. And Rich Roy, this could be one of those unpredictables, you know, having little to no experience throughout any of the other Sigma series of racing, and just gonna find his way into a good position here and fighting for a chance to get up into the Cup Series quicker than some others have ever dreamed of doing. Pit stops look to be underway here. Last round of pit stops. It'll be a while, I assume, before our leaders take to pit road, as you're down to just 28 laps to go. Staying out yet another lap, our leaders. Not worried about pitting yet. Rich Roy, Dave Steele coming down pit road. NCTX teammates staying out, run 1-2 right now. This could very well come down to where you make this final pit stop as to where you'll shuffle out in the mix of it at the end with 25 laps to go. Gonna keep an eye on Dave Steele here and see just how he fares. Sestre and Roy staying out yet another lap here. That's gonna be interesting. I don't know if they're gonna stay out and take gas only and potentially stretch their lead even further. Now, most definitely, these guys do not want to see a caution, because that could really put a wrench in everyone's plan. Finally, the 29 comes down pit road, but Kyler Sestre stretching it ever longer as we're down to 25 laps to go. Sestre leads the way. This could get interesting as we're down to only 6 cars on the lead lap, with Sestre stretching it further than most would dare to push it. It's going to be staying out another lap here. Didn't have much of an option as he's boxed in on the high side. Come around the start-finish line, and there is now... Oh wait, Sestre had pitted. My bad. Somehow I missed that. Sestre had pitted already. Pitted before even the others did, so... We're down to the 66 of Roach. Still holding strong. Actually doing the opposite. Doing what the other one I was saying was doing. This one right here, the 66, pushes it to lap 173. 22 laps to go. Dave Steele Jr. now behind the 46 of Gannon Bird, as Gannon Bird now holds a position over him. Rich Roy way out front. Rich Roy has nothing to worry about right now, as pit strategy looks like he's garnered a bit of a cushion here from the competition. Got about a 2-second lead. 24. I can't believe Kyler Sestre must have had something go wrong to have fallen 2 laps down. He's back down pit road again. Wow, I was mistaken this whole time. I thought Kyler Sestre was on the lead lap fighting with his teammate. Goes to show how closely I pay attention to the actual running order. He'd gone a lap down. And that's been that. So, yeah, he's multiple laps down now. We'll chalk that one up as a dumb Jake moment. That was pretty dumb as it goes. I did not even pay attention to where that 24 was. So the battle still amongst our three here, though. Gannon Bird, Dave Steele Jr., and Rich Roy. At least there is one North Central Texas Audi still running up front here. Dave Steele closing that gap back down. It's a battle between Audi, Subaru, and Cadillac. And 18 laps to go. Dave Steele fighting hard on the inside. This could potentially be for a back-to-back win in Bridge to Cup competition for the guy. We haven't seen a lot of back-to-back wins in the series. Name that comes to mind would be that, of course, Al Bunch, who actually put together 4 consecutive wins in his career in Bridge to Cup. And goes to show you why he's all the way up in Cup already. Had put in a tremendous rookie campaign in Bridge to Cup. Won the championship in his second year, moving him up into Cup permanently full-time. But the thing that we're going to have to keep our eyes on is how is this going to pan out when you have a lot of hungry drivers trying to move up to Cup with very little room to wiggle. There's not many open seats in Cup, so there's going to have to be kind of a threshold as to who gets knocked out on performance in the Cup Series. Bridge to Cup, win the championship here, you're guaranteed at least a full season of competition in Cup. Might have to hop around, jump scotch from seat to seat, but it would be your prize for winning this series is a season of Cup racing. And Dave Steele Jr. wants to get out of the Busch leagues and start fighting up amongst the greats in the series. Really establish his name in the Sigmaverse of offline racing. Going by the 49 lap traffic here. Still fighting with that 46. This is going to be right down to the buzzer. Gannon Bird peaks low. Decides not to execute. Going into turn 3, they've caught the 1 of Alan Malcolm. Continually catching up all this lap traffic's only going to slow them up a little bit each time. As Gannon Bird's right there in his rear view mirror. This has turned into a 2-car fight as the 29 of Rich Roy has dropped off significantly. I think it's safe to say he did a gas and go on that last pit stop so that he could try to get out in front, way out in front, and hope that no one caught him. But the downside now, losing the momentum without that fresh rubber, he's no longer a contender for the win here tonight, as it's down to these two fighting for it. Gannon Bird, hungry as ever, has never won in any step of the ladder in Sigma offline racing. We could be setting up for a photo finish here, folks. These two are hungry. Dave Steele wants to continue racking up those wins, but Gannon Bird wants to settle the score. They've caught up to the lap traffic of Paul Ladino. This is allowing Gannon Bird to stay competitive here. And we're down to 10 laps to go this time by. Dave Steele, Gannon Bird, who's it going to be? Doesn't look like there's going to be too much lap traffic to deal with here in the next couple laps. But they might end up catching that next round of lap traffic right down to the last couple laps. Gannon Bird is side by side with Dave Steele Jr. going through turn 4. Dave Steele's going to have the momentum on that high side and lead the lap there. 9 laps to go. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. 22 car blowing up on the apron. 46 driving it hard, driving it like he stole it. Blown engine for the 22 of Noah Hobson. Fastest car here today, but sadly out of the mix with just 8 laps to go. Gannon Bird leads the way now as he takes the lead away from Dave Steele Jr. Really hoping for an exciting finish to this one here. I don't think Dave Steele is done. He might just be waiting for the right opportunity to get the pass back here. Gannon Bird clearly had the momentum to get the lead. 6 laps to go. Lap traffic's going to become a factor here in the closing laps. Dave Steele Jr. closing the gap in that 35 Subaru Trackhouse B entry. Gannon Bird being held up by the traffic here. They're going to go side by side on the front stretch. 48 gonna screw the 35 here, so it's an ongoing battle with lap traffic involved. Dave Steele's gonna get by. Oh, and he's not gonna get by the 48. 48 holds him up there. This keeps the 46 on his toes. 46 needs to make a move here. Get back in the fight with the 35 and get away from this 48. No way the 48 is going to hold up Gannon Bird significantly here. He can't even get around the 48. This might be all she wrote for the battle here tonight, as Dave Steele's starting to cruise away with potential victory here. Dave Steele struggled to get by that 48 as well. Gannon Bird struggling just as bad to make that pass. These guys not wanting any kind of caution. They want this. Well, if you're the 35, you don't want a caution. But if you're the 46, you might just want that caution to get back in the fight here. 2 laps remain. Still very, very possible that something could cause a caution here before the white flag waves. .194 of 195. 2 laps remain here at Atlanta for the Busch Light 300. And unfortunately, the 46 is not got momentum on his side. It kind of bummer deal that we didn't get to see the race pan out to potential photo finish here today. Race is going to stay green. There's no caution in the air. White flag waving. This race is official. Dave Steele cruising out front. Gets by the lap traffic, the 81 there. Gannon Bird's going to come up short in his trek for his first career win. Krista Cower is going to come home with a top 3 finish. John Hagen moves up to 4th. But it's Dave Steele Jr. getting win number 2 in back-to-back weeks here in this Bridge to Cup series. Followed after Hagen is a 5th from Moger, 6th from Braden Hunt, 7th from Anheuser-Walkner, 8th from Cannon Gage, Santi Messi and his farewell run coming home 9th, Rich Roy 10th, Kevin Xavier 11th, Alan Malcolm's a lap down, Asiel Escobar 12th, Cat Durham 13th, Jamie Horseman 14th, and Ryan Little to round out your top 15. But I think the gauntlet has been thrown down as Dave Steele Jr. goes back-to-back weeks with a win here in Bridge to Cup action. Atlanta, we did get to see it was potentially setting up for a photo finish, but lap traffic kind of got in the way there. And Dave Steele just had the faster car at the end of this one. Had the fastest car all day from the front of the field. Constantly out front leading. Competition was stout though. He had to fight for it. And he definitely earned his win here today at Atlanta. 20 cars finished on the lead lap. 27 cars finished running under their own power. And this is the conclusion to our 5th race in the Bridge to Cup campaign. And I'll definitely have to get those points tallied. I didn't get it done last week, but I'll have time to do that tonight. So I think it's going to be safe to assume that Dave Steele Jr. is going to be your points leader going into next week's race on a rallycross circuit. So we're going to go back to rallycross racing for the 2nd time this year. And that's going to mix things up a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see how Dave Steele fares going back to a rallycross track. His first one at the Daytona Rallycross, I think he came home with a top 5, so hasn't been a weak point in the one race that we've hosted in rallycross setup. So but that is a wrap for tonight, folks. Bridge to Cup action has concluded at Atlanta. Congratulations to Dave Steele Jr. Back-to-back wins. Better be careful if he gets 3 wins in a row. There's going to be the fatigue factor setting in that we've established through all 3 of our Sigma series. So I don't want to do it at 2, but at 3 I might roll, I don't know, maybe like a D20, and that'll be, not a D20, maybe more like a D8 or something, and if I roll 2, it's going to be -2 to all stats temporarily. Actually, no. Scratch that too, because that was only going to apply to people that are maxed out in their stats. So Dave Steele Jr. should be safe. If he goes on a tear here, his stats are not maxed out 100 across the board. So he should be just safe. So scratch everything I just said. I'm going loony. This computer is going loony. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Get the points tallied up and posted on Discord. And we'll catch you on the next stream. This is Jakester signing out.